الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. Peace be with you all. When we talk of Lady Fatima, we are not talking about an Islamic figure. Just as when we talk about Mother Mary, we are not talking of a Christian personality, nor when we talk of Miriam, are we talking about a Jewish figure. Nor, as Captain Saab said, when we talk about Mata Partu, are we talking about a Sikh figure. What we need to understand is that in principle we all talk of the same God, and that God is a colorless God, an odorless God, a God who does not even have gender. He has created in his beautiful image the whole of existence as we see it. It is amazing when we look at the world in the context of the wider universe, it is not even worthy of mention. And on this speck of dust are human beings endowed with this beauty of understanding and wanting to know. They should take pride that they have produced such great human figures. And that is why when we talk of human personalities, they are the heritage of humanity at large. Fatima belongs to humanity as Maryam belongs to humanity. It is our great human heritage. We are on a unilateral path of self-completion. The fact that today some of us have spoken of community cohesion, interfaith dialogue, an evolution of understanding, creation of common ground, all of this points at that one single principle and truth and reality, that we are all of the same source and we are all striving to complete ourselves. Today, the world talks of establishing peace, maintaining and upholding noble human rights, upholding international law. We, at the level of our humanity, are godly creatures, whether we call on to him as God, as Allah, as Bhagwan, as Ram, whatever his name may be. أَيًّا مَا تَدْعُونَ فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. Whichever name you call, these are all the beautiful names. Even a person who is in denial of God is ultimately seeking the truest of God and denying a limited God. In my very humble understanding and observation of the human community, even a person who claims to be a secularist is none other than one seeking the absolute beauty and truth. We are one in our humanity, as that red substance that gives life to us is one and the same in all of us. When we talk of Fatima in that sense, we are talking of what humanity can achieve and the heights at which humanity can evolve. Just as when we talk of Moses and Jesus, these are great human figures. As my brother just mentioned, that there is a statement within the hadith of the Prophet in which he states, لو كان حسن شخصا, if beauty was an individual, or if beauty were to be embodied, it would be none other than Fatima. Allah is beauty and he adores beauty, and in another statement from God directly we find Allah is in awe of his own majesty and beauty. But if we truly want to understand the rank of Fatima, the Fatima who is not an individual, the Fatima who is the manifestation of the beauty of God, in all the women of the world, then we will see that when God introduces himself at the level of human beings, he calls himself Rabb, the Lord, the nurturer, the sustainer, and that is a motherly and a feminine role. God is the giver of life, sustainer of life, completion of life, and the one who brings everything to fruition and the completion of its journey. And if that is to be observed, and if that acquires the fullest manifestation, then that is within a woman. Such is the great and the honorable position of a female within the human context. We do not require Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism to present arguments for the worth of women. Humanity itself cries for the worth of a womb and a lap that instills humanity in otherwise animal forms. It has been a great injustice done against women by a male-dominant community, either in the name of religion or in the name of secularism. None of us has been fair. When we look at these exemplaries and these fine women, we are brought to a realization that great injustice has been done upon women. I will say a few things if I am allowed to. They might be sensitive, but as a human being, I feel it is my human and God-given right to be as objective as I want, and Allah expects nothing less than that from me. When Fatima is inside the court seeking her right, the Shias are appalled that the first Khalifa asks her to present a witness. But we ask the Muslims and we say, is she not Siddiqa, the most truthful one? Could she ever make a false claim? And if that is the case, then I will ask the Muslim theologians, scholars, and thinkers that are the daughters of Fatima any less than Fatima in retaining knowledge, giving testimonials, and being truthful? Why do you require two women? The injustice was not done in that court. The injustice has been done by the Muslim mind in the way that it has perceived the texts. Think about it very carefully. The law of covering, when it came in Islam, it was meant to liberate women. Why? Because otherwise a male-dominant society was not ready to accept women as equal stakeholders within a community due to the context. And the law of the veil brought man to a realization that these women are not objects of your desires. They are equal in their humanity, their spirituality. They can excel in every field that man can excel. Now when a woman talks, appreciate her as a human being. That veil was a symbol of liberation for women. Today the Muslim male has taken the veil to curtail the personality and the rights of women altogether. The day of Fatima should cause the Muslims to be righteous to themselves, to be honest and to be truthful. Of what value is the narration of Fadak if the present Muslim lovers of Fatima, Mary, Maryam, the prophetesses within Israelite, the great women of Hindu tradition, the great women of Buddhist tradition, the great women of the Sikh tradition, if we are not ready to acknowledge the truth that is there in front of us? How odd that people who proclaim to be the upholders of faith use faith against the ethos of humanity. What worth is Fatima if she fails to bring us to the acceptance of truth as it stands? That Islam which promotes injustice in the name of Quran is removed from Allah and humanity. Just as that Christianity is and Judaism is. And that secular value of upholding peace and justice and fairness and equality is far nearer to God, even if it may not be in the name of God. I want to finish by just stating one or two things about Fatima Salamullah alayha. If anybody knows these great figures of Islam, they will know that these people do not utter loose statements. When Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam states Fatima Ummu Abiha, it is not said through emotion or for the sake of endearment. It is said in order to reflect a truth. You see, when the Prophet would come home at times, may God forgive me for my audacity, defeated, young Zahra would tend to his wounds and say, "Oh Father, I believe in you, go forth." And she became the pillar and the strength of Muhammad, and hence he said, "Huwa ummu abiha." It is said in the historical books, when Ali's right was taken away from him, she used to ascend the canopy every night, and Ali would hold the reins of the camel, and she would direct Ali to the house of every migrant, muhajir, and every ansar. Ali would knock on their doors. They would come out, and Fatima would remind them of the pledge made by them at Ghadir Khum. Where do you think Hussein got his resilience and defiance from? From a mother like Fatima. It is said by the historians that after the death of Fatima, Ali became passive and docile. He no longer sought his right. This was Fatima, the pillar of strength for Ali ibn Abi Talib. At Uhud, she was found crying. The women went to her, they say, "Fatima, do you cry for Fadak so bitterly?" She said, "Nay, I cry," shall I wrap it up? Yes. "I cry for the fate of Islam. By God, if Ali's right was given to him, till the day of judgment, no two Muslims would have been indifferent about Islam at all." And when it comes to interfaith, I want to end on this note, all of this talk about tolerance of others is nonsensical. Allah has accepted black for being black, white for being white, brown for being brown, Muslim for being Muslim, Christian for being Christian, secularist for being secularist, Sikh for Sikh, Hindu for Hindu. There is no question of tolerance. This is ungodly. It is a question of acceptance. That one beauty has manifested itself in multiplicity. This multiplicity collectively resembles that single beauty. We need to take that step forward and make something out of this area.